Hello, everyone. I'm starting a process of making a Castile soap. If you're interested in soap making, stay tuned, and I would appreciate if you continue watching. So I've been infusing some oils for a couple days. That's really not enough. Because of that, I'm going to do a heat infusion for a few minutes before I extract the oils. So I'm using Pyrex. You need a heat-safe container. I have Calendula here and Marigold. I also have a different bottle with dandelions, which I'm also going to use for this soap making. So this is going to be a Castile soap. If you're not familiar with Castile soap, it's a soap that's made purely from olive oil. This soap is not hard to make, but it does take quite a long time for curing process. So basically the minimum time you cure it is for 6 months up to a year. In the meantime, I'm going to prepare my area. I usually like to cover everything, so if anything spills, it's not directly on the countertop. So once the water heats, I'm going to infuse this for probably 10-15 minutes. And in the meantime, I'm going to prepare my lye solution. I do have a ready recipe that I use for Castile soap. I'm just going to follow the formula. The last one I made was in April, and so I have the formula ready. I'm gonna use the same one because it came out really nice. Okay, water is heating. Just gonna reduce the heat to the half, to the medium. This is the pot I'm going to use to make soap. And that's a safe container to make your fly solution. If you look underneath your container, it should have 0.5 pp, which is safe for high temperatures. Safe plastic for high temperatures. I really want to get a lovely yellow color, although it's already pretty beautiful, but I'm trying to get as much as I can, so I end up with a bright yellow soap. So now I'm gonna put my gloves on. Measure the water first. Okay, so my recipe calls for 570 grams of water, and I'm making, it's at the end, before the cure time, I'll have 2 kilos, 300 grams of soap, and I need 570 grams of water. All right, I need another 100 grams. Okay, so I have 560 instead of 570, which is fine. I thought we were going to remove 70 grams for water reduction. That way my soap will cure faster. A bit faster. Next is lye. Okay, I'm putting my goggles on and a mask. And I will be turning on the fan so it will get noisy. I will add the lye into water. And you always prepare your water first, and then you add lye. It's never the other way around. So at this moment, I'm going to add a little bit of a skin shed of a vitamin. It will dissolve in high solution and create a hydrolyzed keratin, which will make your soap extremely soft and silky. So within 20 minutes it's already good. It makes a huge difference, I have to say. It's probably works just as Tusa soap. Never worked with a Tusa soap yet, but this method is just an amazing method. I've learned it from Australian soap makers. It does make a huge difference in the way how the soap is. Unfortunately, I can't turn it off completely because the light is still in the process. But I can leave it low. Anyway, now I'm going to, I think this was enough. The oil is quite hot. Not that hot. Maybe I'll keep it another 5 minutes. So then I will remove all the flowers from it and start the process extracting the oil, and then I put the oil directly on my scale so I know how much oil I have. For this recipe I need a kilo 500. So my Castile soap has 7% superfat. I will be posting the recipe down below after I'm done with this trimming. So I will start. That's probably good enough. It looks pretty yellow to me. Okay, so let's see how much I have here. I will also infuse a little bit. I'll do the heat infusion with Dandelion, which I collected today and infused today, fresh. You don't want to keep the fresh dandelions too long in the oil. 1 second. Because it has water, so it will mold. The most the longest time you can do that, maybe 3-5 days max. So, but I left it for a day and it's already extracted some of the color. I will put a little bit of it, infuse a bit just to get a little better color. I want a bright yellow soap, so I'll infuse for another 10 minutes. So in the meantime, I'm going to mix my lye solution. If you notice, I'm using ice instead of water. That way, the lye doesn't overheat, and by the time it melted, I have a nice room temperature. If you want to know how I make my lye, I have a separate video that you can watch. It shows the whole process. But this method, I figured it out after having made a regular way like other soapers do. I didn't have much patience, so I figured that this would be the fastest way to make a lye solution, and it's actually amazing because first of all, you don't get much of the fumes that are coming out when the lye is dissolving, and second of all, it's not heated, and you don't have to wait too long to get it to the right temperature. Basically, by the time the ice melts, my lye is already melted, dissolved completely, and it's at the right temperature. I usually never check because I've made soap with that method so many times. I already know that it's a proper temperature for what I need it for my soap making. So I'll have to measure this oil again. I'm just gonna go ahead and press and get the oil out of this, and just squeeze it. And if I get a little bit of petals, it's absolutely fine. This is soap I'm making a request for a client, and that's how they requested it, with some flowers and herbs in it. So this will be perfectly fine for what I need it for. The color's turning really bright, beautiful yellow. It's a mix of marigold. Yeah, I gotta answer this call, I'm sorry. Hello? Да, делаю мало. Окей, не могу говорить, sorry. Sorry for that. Alright, almost all the oil is out. Okay, so this, now I'm going to dump this and come back. This is my first time doing live on soap making, so it's probably not as perfect as you expected, but you'll get lots of information. Okay, so my lye is almost ready, and it's nice warm, like a room temperature. Now I'm gonna work on these dandelions. Lovely color. I don't know if you can see it. Probably not. I'll pick it up. Really yellowish. So I'll keep that for 5 minutes or so. Maybe 5 minutes. And we'll measure this for how much I have, because the scale turned off on me. To use a different pot. Alright, so I have almost 700 grams. I measure all my oils in grams, so it's more convenient for me, and I think this method is a little more exact than measuring it in ounces. Okay, so I have 795 grams, and I need 1 kilo 500 grams. So I'm going to add this oil. I have 780 grams. Okay, this should be good enough. Okay, so I had 780, which means I need another 220 plus 500, 720 grams. It's 770, so I'll have to remove 50 grams from here. going to use my hands. It's the most yellowish part, because I'm using dandelions not just for their good properties that they provide in soap, but also for the color. The color is mostly in the flower, and you want to really get it out each and every little gram of oil. I have to say it's really hot, but I guess gloves are protecting my hand and it doesn't feel as hot. It's not burning well, that's what I'm trying to say. Alright, so okay, I have 80 grams more than I needed, so I'm gonna remove 80 grams. Alright. So just gonna pour 80 grams. That's 90. Exactly 80 grams. Anyway, take a look at this color. It's a beautiful yellow color. Hopefully my soap turns out so beautiful and yellow. Anyway, I'm gonna put this aside and proceed to soap making. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is pour this back because I don't think this container will be big enough. It's a very rich yellow color. Beautiful. I'm really happy with it. Let's see what comes out in the soap. By the way, those that don't know me, I'm a creator of AlchemistShopGoods. You can find me on Etsy, Instagram, Facebook, and I'm also on Amazon. I do a little bit of tutorials, not much. And my name is Angelica. Nice meeting you, everyone who is watching. All right. seen my other videos, you probably saw me using this blender, not the blender that mostly soap users, soap makers use. They usually use the stick blender. I hate stick blender, so I'm using the regular blender. I'm just gonna check my lye. It all melted and dissolved. Okay, I'm gonna mix it. So my oil was room temperature pretty much. The lye solution was also even, I would say, lower than room temperature. So this is right. And since I'm using really cold temperatures for soap making here, it's actually almost emulsified. I don't have a trace yet. Looks like a thin trace, but I'm probably going to get it to a medium trace before I put it in. Try to show you what it looks like. Let me see if I can get my camera. So it's not fully emulsified, but there's a thin trace. I will mix it a bit more. I'm not ready. Castile soap takes a long time to emulsify. This soap doesn't have any butters, doesn't have any hard oils or waxes, so it takes a little longer. I splashed myself with a little bit of soap and it's burning. I'm gonna go wash it. Should be covered all the naked areas of your skin, but it's too hot to fully cover, so I just take chances and burn myself. Okay, that's much better. Anyway, it's looking better. I still see bubbles. I'll try to show it to you. It looks like I'm getting a false trace. I've noticed when there's bubbles like that and it looks like there is a trace, it's not completely emulsified and sometimes it separates in the mold, which I don't want to do this time. So I'm going to get it to a bit thicker trace so I'm 100% sure before I pour it into molds. And at a few minutes. Okay, now I think it's ready. Got nice and thick. And I definitely see a thin trace, but no thick trace. So I'll mix it a little more. I just don't want to get it separated in the mold. right, looks good. Just gonna quickly show you what it looks like before I pour it. See, there's a trace. That's soap all over. All right, so tap it to get all the air bubbles out. As I mentioned before, I will leave a full recipe in the description box after the streaming is over. And I'll link my video on how I make a fast and easy rice solution. All right, that's it. So I will hold the soap in a mold for at least 48 hours. Then I'll unmold it, I'll cut it, and leave it to cure for a minimum of 6 months. As you remember, Castile soap has to be cured. The longer the better. The longer you cure your soap, the longer it serves you in the shower. So it stays harder and becomes more milder with Castile soap. All right. I'll post the pictures afterwards once I cut it. If you want to come back in a few days to this video, I don't think I'll be able to post the pictures, no. So I'll probably post pictures on my Instagram, and you can find me on Instagram. It's instagram.com, AlchemistShopGoods. I will post the link down below in the description box. And thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining.